Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote at this point will be delivered by the CEO of a place that I had to Google and I was blown away. I don't pretend I know everything. Well, I'm a woman, I know a lot, but I don't know everything. This place has 62 kilometers of white sandy beaches, clear blue water, and water sports aplenty. It offers no less than 18 different types of dates, the ones you eat, not the ones you go to, okay? And it is home to the highest mountain in the UAE. That place is literally top of the tent. It is Ras Al Khaimah. And I want you to put your hands together for Haitham Mata, the CEO of Ras Al Khaimah Tourism Development Authority. And I want a big round of applause. Otherwise, you know, he just won't come out. There will be questions after this. But this is yours, and you can take the clicker. Unless you want a selfie with me first, sir.
Thank you.
All right, here we go.
Thank you very much.
All
I'm
yours.
impressed of the way you pronounce Ras Al Khaimah.
Khaimah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Afternoon, everybody. It's an opportunity to be here. This is my third time being on a circular sort of a stage. The first one I was on is when a gentleman sitting right over there, Jonathan Worsley. He's the one who put me on one that was moving, actually, as I was talking, so I had to run in circles. But also, I realized there's something in common between me and Martin. We both worked in a revolving restaurant, except I was a waiter at this revolving restaurant at the highest, or the tallest hotel in the world back then, which was the Westin Peachtree Plaza in Atlanta, Georgia. And I lost so much weight, and I'll tell you why. So that while the restaurant rotated, the kitchen didn't. It was a square kitchen. It had 4 entrances, the bread entrance, the cold entrance for the salads, you had the hot food, and the bar. Now, once you enter to the kitchen, you are no longer moving, but your customers are moving, right? So you had to be smart in timing yourself which exit to take. Now, of course, I ran the entire restaurant looking for my tables. So make a long story short, I think we're going to start with a video, and then I'll come back again and talk to you. So let's have that video. Thank you. This is an award-winning video. Out of 13,000 submissions, the Telly Award in the United States gave us the Bronze Award, amongst many other awards. The music was composed especially for the video. The video showcases Ras Al Khaima's natural assets, culture, and heritage. And you don't see many high-rises or shopping malls deliberately. What I want to take you through today is a bit of an intro. We're honored, obviously, to be the guest destination here in Lucerne, but we're also delighted to be the host of the think tank in 2020 in Ras Al Khaimah on our turf, and also the forum in 2021 as well in Ras Al Khaimah. It's a great pleasure working with Marta and Arito, and bringing this to our part of the world is phenomenal and is a privilege. We are about 45 minutes north of Dubai, within 7 hours to Europe, most cities in Europe, and within 3 hours to most cities in the CIS and Asia. But we also want to share some key facts about us being the fourth largest in terms of area, but we're a small village, 350,000 people. I told the story earlier. I went to China to meet one of the largest developers in China, and he asked me, how big is the population of Ras Al Khaimah? And I said about 350,000. He said, why didn't you bring them to lunch with you? So 3 million tourists is our target by 2025. The first target was 1 million visitors at the end of 2018. We exceeded that target by 72,000 to 1,072,000. And we're just launched the 21 strategy January this year. This is the second time round to a second round of strategy in Ras Al Khaimah. The advantage in Ras Al Khaimah is its natural assets, natural terrains. How many people around here love adventure? Raise your hand. Adventure enthusiasts. I'll tell you, if you love adventure, you go to Ras Al Khaimah. You can do zip lining in the mountains, you can dive in the sea, and take a horse, go hiking in the desert, all in the same day. Now, I can't think of many places around the world you can do that. I did it, and you'll see some videos that prove that. So the mountains, the highest mountain in the UAE at about 2,000 meters high. We get snow as well, believe it or not. But also beautiful desert with great wildlife. And a lot of reserve areas, mangroves, marine life. Some of the facts: 10% growth year on year in terms of visitors, but also 9% growth as well the year before. Now, a bit more on our guest nights. 15% growth in the number of guest nights. That means the number of people staying in a hotel room. Ras Al Khaimah is a very popular family destination. About 70% of our visitors come from the family segment, with a 72% growth year on year. And the length of stay is about 3.8% growth in the number of nights, with close to 3.5 million. So some of the markets that we are very popular in. Germany remains to be our top market, with a slight decline last year. Russia has grown tremendously, 17%, again due to the UAE's ease of visa for the Russians. The United Kingdom is a very loyal inbound market, 11% growth. India is our fourth largest market, and Kazakhstan, Czech Republic, and Nordics are new markets that we entered not only a year ago, but just more than 2 years ago. We started moving into these markets, and we started to see growth. One really interesting market, the United States, small numbers, but also growing at 16% year on year. Now, those are some of the markets that we've seen growth, and those are new markets. So these are rival growth for us: Kazakhstan, Norway, India, France, and Denmark, Czech Republic, Russia. Some of the markets to mention that we entered recently into on the top, and we've seen fantastic growth. Look at Kazakhstan, close to 30% growth from that market. A little bit on the accommodation. Again, I'm just giving you a bit of an intro of what the destination is about. And some of you who will join us in 2020 and 2021 will be able to experience some great facilities and great product in terms of hotels, services. We have 6,700 keys in operation today. About 6,200 are in the pipeline, different brands: Marriott, Radisson, Movenpick, Intercontinental, Anantara, and many more. By 2022, we should have a total of 12,000 rooms. In order for us to reach that 3 million visitor target I mentioned before, we need to have 20,000 hotel rooms. That's at an average occupancy of about 70%. Now, one of our key development areas is the Al Marjan Island. This is about 4 square kilometers of reclaimed land where we have some hotels already operating on, but we also have a master plan for another 17 hotels to come on this island with green space, spas, attractions as well. This is a project that is now living in the sea, so it's no longer man-made. It really has been there for 10 years, so now the ecosystem around it is quite healthy, great circulation of water, beautiful views around the island, 360 anywhere you are on the island, and I'm lucky because my office is just on the island. So I'm a little bit fortunate. I have a great job. For some of you who are jealous, you can visit Ras Al Khaimah and we'll show you around. But this is one of the future developments that we are building on Jabal Jais, the highest mountain in the UAE. This is a luxury camp, tented villas. It's up at 650 meters above sea level. It's unique because it doesn't exist in the region. There isn't any villas or tented villas that are price sensitive. So they are quite affordable for people who want to enjoy Ras Al Khaimah. We will create a circle of this. You'll have a beach experience, a desert experience, and a mountain experience. We start with the mountain, hoping to open this by the end of 2020. So, culture and heritage in Ras Al Khaimah. It's very authentic, Ras Al Khaimah. So when you drive into the emirate, it's almost like you're just back in time, right? It's very low-rise buildings. The desert, the sea, and the mountain are so close to each other. There's 3 tribes, the tribe of the mountains, the tribe of the desert, the tribe of the sea. Different cultures, different diets, and different dress codes in some cases, and different accents. In a very small village of 350,000 people. I'm sure you see that around Switzerland as well. This is one of our popular sites called the Daya Fort. It was built in the 19th century. There was a war between the tribe of Ras Al Khaimah and Britain in the 19th century. And it is told, the story says that this played a key role in fortifying Ras Al Khaimah and keeping the British out. Now we use it to bring the British in. One of the longest standing mosques in Ras Al Khaimah, but also really close to my heart is not the National Museum, but the next one here, which has been restored, the Jazira Al-Hamra, I believe, is next. Yes, this is where the Emiratis used to live before the oil. This is 450 units of very basic infrastructure with mosques, forts, and shops, and it dates back to about 200 years. Of course, when Ras Al Khaimah was known for pearling, the industry of Ras Al Khaimah back then, or the economy, was 1.5 sterling pounds. That's a lot of money for a tribe in the 19th century. Of course, Japanese invented cultured pearls, so the economy died, but then came the oil. And the Emiratis who lived in that island moved out to mainly Abu Dhabi or different parts of the UAE, and this little island became quite empty. So by the order of His Highness, the President of the UAE, we've restored this village, or started restoration, and we will make this tourist ready with a precise master plan very soon. So hopefully those who are coming in 2020 will be able to visit this and have a tour. Shibba's palace is one of those palaces that goes back to the 13th century. It's told that the king of Ras Al Khaimah, which was called Julfar, King Julfar, lived in this palace here. A very interesting also site to visit. It's a quite hike to get to from the mountain, but it is still moderate for most people to get to. Al Suwaidi Pearl Farm is a new discovery for us in terms of product. We go back to pearling in Ras Al Khaimah. So one of the people of Ras Al Khaimah whose father or grandfather used to dive for pearling recreated the experience in a farm that allows you to go on a dhow boat and go into this floating pontoon, and then you can actually dig out an oyster yourself and chuck it, and if there's a pearl in it, it's yours. and they have a jewelry on site. And they also did, serve Emirati food right there on site. So these are some of the experiences that we try to bring in to have people connect with the culture, connect with the people of Ras Al Khaimah, and really get to learn more. The motivators of travel that we all know about. Beach, sun, and sand is always number one. Everybody wants to travel looking for beach, sun, and sand. But the second motivator, sometimes depending on what country we're talking to, could either be adventure or it could be people who just want to connect with the country's people that they're visiting, the culture, and learn about the heritage. And this is where we're playing a lot on driving tourism into Ras Al Khaimah. Adventure is a space that we wanted to occupy. And I'm going to show you a little bit on adventure as we get closer to it. Wildlife Reserve is one of the most beautiful areas in Ras Al Khaimah, where you see deer and oryx and camels, foxes living in their own natural habitats, simply by driving through some of the areas that are not restricted to. Falcon Show shows you how the Emiratis used to hunt using falcons. And also, the Equestrian Club. I told you about taking a horse going into the desert. Again, a beautiful experience to have. Some of the mountain activities, yes, you have, of course, the hiking and biking. Ras Al Khaimah's mountain is about 10 degrees cooler. It's close to 2,000 meters high. Hiking has become really popular. We've just developed about 65 kilometers of hiking and biking trails. All to international standards with safety measures, as well as markings for fitness. One of the first products we launched is the Via Ferrata. Who knows what a Via Ferrata is? Raise your hand. It's an Italian term for the Iron Path. And we built this 2 years ago and saw such a huge demand, but there's 3 zip lines in this. The longest at the time was 300 meters. So we did a bit of survey to understand why people love this so much. And it was the zip lines more than anything, but also it connects you to nature. It's the closest thing to connect to nature. So that gave us an idea, a wild idea. What if we built more zip lines, right? What would people want? They want more zip lines. So a desktop search showed us that the longest zip line in the world was in Puerto Rico, and I'll tell you a bit of a story, but this is the first viewing deck up at 1,300 meters high above sea level. Beautiful views. It's like a park up in the mountains that we built a year ago. So, longest zip line in the world is where? Ras Al Khaimah. Used to be in Puerto Rico at 2.2 kilometers. When we found out that was the longest zip line in the world in Puerto Rico, we took a flight, went to Puerto Rico, and we did the longest zip line in the world. We met the owners of the park. They were kind enough to take us to dinner. Then I broke the bad news and said, guess what? We're going to build the longest zip line in the world. So first they made me pay for dinner. And then they said, okay, you can do it, but not without us, which is exactly what we're looking for. Bring those experts to build the longest zip line in the world. We'll be doing 160 kilometers an hour going down Jebel Jais. Stunning views of the mountain. So, let me show you just a short video of the zip line experience. It's a dream come true. Obviously, we stood here months back talking about building the longest zip line in the world, and here it is. The suspended platform is also very unique. It is a 9.5-ton platform with a glass bottom that's anchored with 8 anchors into the mountains, and the zip line is only one part of what we aim to build to position Ras Al Khaimah as the next adventure hub.
Now that I'm here, I can actually all see the way down there, and now I'm really excited to try it. Hopefully, it's going to defy my expectations, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Not many people can say has built the longest cables in the world. We already built one in Puerto Rico. Only the masterminds in this that have done it is the one that were involved in this very challenging product, which you can see now we're breaking the record with the longest zip line in the planet.
I have no words to explain it. I'm definitely going again.
So earlier today, we were talking about innovation. And we didn't invent the zip line. I didn't invent the longest zip line in the world. It already existed. But the innovation is that we thought about bringing the longest zip line, got the Puerto Ricans to break their own record, right? Building the longest zip line in the world. And there's a consultancy firm called Red Robot. If you can Google that, Red Robot. I don't know them from Adam. They've done a study on the zip line, the communication, basically, that we have gained. The zip line was what gave Ras Al Khaimah headline news globally for the first time ever. We have people from Brazil, China, right, Mexico, calling us saying, hey, we've seen the zip line. We want to come and do it. So this is where innovation plays a role by recreating something that already exists and using it to your advantage. Using Jebel Jais to our advantage to give us that competitive edge is certainly what is giving us the opportunity to be the next or the adventure hub of the Middle East. Ras Al Khaimah is. Now, we're building the Survival Academy. Some of you may have heard we've signed with Bear Grylls. Everybody know Bear Grylls? Yeah, their brand name in Survival Academy. Into Ras Al Khaimah, Bear himself is going to be involved in writing the courses specific to Ras Al Khaimah. This is going to be different. It'll have some tents for accommodation. They're not going to be glamorous. This is survival. But the academy itself, catering for children, for schools, for universities, government and corporate clients as well, for team building. This is, again, another competitive edge for a small emirate like ours. Our strategy was based on destination marketing. We don't have a lot of money. Ras Al Khaimah doesn't have oil or gas. However, it's very rich in industries. The largest ceramic producer in the world is Rack Ceramics. I Googled a place yesterday looking for a roastery coffee here in Lucerne, and I found one about 30 minutes walk from here, Topka Cafe. Beautiful coffee, comes from El Salvador, and the cups he uses are from Ras Al Khaimah, Rack Ceramics. So it was really beautiful for me to find our cups here in his little coffee shop. Product development. You come on board and you have very little to offer, right? We're going out there and we want to build an adventure product. And we start with the Via Ferrata, we start with the zip line, adventure products, adventure park, right? The camp, and many more to come. Human capital, world-class teams. Human capital. We did a study with Chemonics in the United States on a human capital needs for Ras Al Khaimah, which will then probably start to strike ideas about building an academy that fuels the population of workforce that we need. Remember the 20,000 rooms? Remember the 6.5 in the pipeline? We're going to need 10,000 people to work in Ras Al Khaimah's hospitality industry in the next 2 to 3 years. This is going to be hard work to find 10,000 people. We were talking earlier today about people interested in our industry or not. Does the industry pay enough or not, right? So attracting people to work in the sector remains to be a challenge. I won't take you through too much of this. Enabling the sustainable growth. SDGs were mentioned before. Sustainability is key for us. When the UNWTO launched or dedicated Sustainable Development for Growth in 2017, we were a main sponsor. We knew it was going to be something we want to be part of, because one of our key pillars in our strategy in 2016 is actually sustainable tourism. So, championing the industry partnerships, this is the sort of journey. Private sector, public sector, local community, bringing the local community to find benefits. We all heard about mass tourism. Yeah, well, we want mass tourism. Bring them to us, right? It's because mass tourism is about not being able to manage tourism. You manage tourism in the right way, and you shouldn't have mass tourism. You involve the people so they see value in tourism, right? So it's not always a perception that government is taking everything, right? We use sweets that we take with us sometimes when we travel, and it's made in some of the Emiratis' widows' homes. So we give them an opportunity to work. They make cheese, they make yogurt out of fresh milk, and they make sweets that we buy ourselves, or we allow them to exhibit with no rent. So they make the money and they benefit, and that's where they see value. involving them also in the decision making. And now, I want to show you a final video before we finish my presentation. This is a video that we launched recently, again, with a campaign globally, and it's actually in some of the markets it's in language. So it's in Russian, and the best one is in Chinese. But you'll see this video here that I'm very proud of and very happy of, the second video called I Found Drac.
I was looking for that which I knew not. I was searching for the peace of just being. I was seeking an adventure beyond the limits of my imagination. I found it. All of it. I found Ras Al Khaimah. Or maybe it found me.
Or maybe it found me, actually.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
That is stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Don't run away. There'll be one or two questions. I've got one for you on talent. However, on the zip line, did you do that yourself?
5 times. And I was the first to be thrown off that zip line.
Oh, you need to meet
Just to
my
make sure.
cabinet secretary for tourism. He jumps out of airplanes.
Excellent.
The two of you would have such a great time.
Excellent.
And your wives will be very upset. So, 10,000 people you're looking for. As a Kenyan, I'm very aware that in the Emirates, we do actually contribute a huge workforce. But there's talent and then there's the right talent. How do you find, because the people here are thinking 10,000 is a good number. This guy's got, there's a shopping list going on right now.
Right.
But how, and especially given the changes and demands of tourists and experience and looking for that adrenaline rush, how are you going to identify who's a right talent for Ras Al Khaimah?
This is an excellent question. This is a partnership with us, the hotels, the hospitality industry as a whole, and the tourism partners as well. This is a partnership in us finding the right talent, but it's through the academy that we want to build. We want to build an academy where we educate people about tourism, even if they don't know about tourism, right? It's actually focusing on the needs of the destination and how do we need tour guides, for example. We don't have sufficient number of tour guides that can learn so easily about the destination, the culture, and be able to tell the story, just like I did.
Okay. Somebody who you'll probably speak to tomorrow said that you, in this industry, you hire for the attitude. You can always train for the skills.
Bravo. This
Really?
is excellent. Correct, yes.
Okay.
By the way, many hoteliers that I've gone through in my career don't actually have a high school degree, but they've reached very high positions in hospitality. But because they have the attitude and they have the passion.
All right.
And our job is not a job. Hospitality, tourism is a passion. It's actually a lifestyle. It's never 9 to 5.
Okay.
Right? And when I was working at the hotels, I never experienced New Year's Eve parties because I was working. All the holidays I had to work. Weekends I had to work. So unless you had passion and loved what you were doing, you wouldn't give up all these things, right? Because as a kid growing up, I was 17 years old when I first started working. You obviously want to party. You want to go to the parties on the weekends. You want New Year's Eve. And we had to give all that up because you had the passion of serving people.
True. Okay. Because I want an invitation to Ras Al Khaimah, I'm not going to ask any more questions.
You've got it.
Any questions right now? There we go. You're making it too hard for me to throw this at you because, I might hit other people. Here you go.
I come from Kosovo and I have built a zip line, which is not as long as yours, but we have longer via ferratas for sure.
Excellent.
My question is for the zip line. Is it expected to get the money back from the tickets? Or is it only to attract visitors in the location? And just out of curiosity, how much is one flight?
Very good.
You
Good
call it a
question.
flight also.
So look, quick answers. The zip line cost us only $5 million to build. The ticket, you do the math, the ticket is $120. We've already done 30,000 people as of yesterday, so you do the math. It paid itself back.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome. Now, I know you've got more questions, and that's why we have a networking session coming up next. Sir, have a seat.
Thank you.
I will be seeing you. Thank you so much. I'm going to be fired. You don't understand what's about to happen to me right now. Anyway, Ras Al Khaimah will give me a job. Okay, here we go.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank Haytham Attar and Russell Kamer, His Highness Sheikh Zayed, because they hosted us for the last 2 years, the Arabian Hotel Investment Conference. So we've been hosting the leading event in the region for the last 13 years. And certainly Haytham and his team disrupted us by taking the event to Russell Kamer, building this incredible structure on the beach, which is now semi-permanent and really quite extraordinary. And we just had a fabulous event 2 weeks ago. But I wanted to ask one question, Haytham, to you. With the increase in supply in Dubai coming on stream, we've seen what the results are from STR. I think they're down 15% RevPAR year to date. How are you going to innovate to make sure that you maintain your growth and your keep up with your vision?
Good question.
Thank you.
Great question, to be honest. Thank you.
You should have asked me that in Ras Al Khaimah when we meet. Good question. So look, we don't compete with Dubai. We actually complement what Dubai has to have. And don't forget, Dubai's got 120,000 rooms and another 30,000 rooms in the pipeline, 150,000 rooms by 2020. We only have 6,000. Wow. So, and if you think about it, out of the 120,000 rooms Dubai has, only about 10 to 15,000 are beachfront. And if you want to count the Palm as beach, then I'll tell you, I've got some beach hotels in the desert. So, the number of hotel rooms that Ras Al Khaimah has on the beach are 3,500, about 4,000 hotel rooms. So we can be a bit selective on the markets we want to enter. The competition, or from Google Analytics, when people are looking for Ras Al Khaimah, they're not looking, do I go to Dubai or do I go to Ras Al Khaimah? Because we're very different. When you go to Dubai, you're going to see the tallest tower in the world. You're going to see the biggest shopping mall in the world. It's more of a city experience. It's buzzing. It's all the nice and sexy restaurants in Dubai. Yeah, glitz, glamour. Ras Al Khaimah, authentic. Heritage, culture, adventure, very different. So we compete with destinations that offer similar experiences. So when people are looking for Ras Al Khaimah, they look for a beach experience. They want to look for do I go to the Canary Islands? Do I go to the Maldives? Do I go to the Seychelles? Or do I go to Ras Al Khaimah? And the great value for money Ras Al Khaimah offers by default, because the beachfront hotels in Ras Al Khaimah are mostly 4-star brands. So you have a 4-star product with a 4-star price point, but a 5-star quality.
Also known as brand differentiation.
Remember what I said about families? 70% families, because they can afford it.
Oh, I love it.